first, let me apologize because I've already come down with something, so my throat's a little bit sore. And the speech is really short, so I'm going to sound like I'm kind of dragging it on a little bit. Okay, anyways, do me a favor for a second and imagine yourself 10, 15 years in the future. Imagine you have your house, you have kids, and you're sleeping at night, you hear a noise. Walk out in your hallway, peer down the stairs, hear a pot fall. Walk down, not knowing, guns are illegal, so you don't have any weapon on you. You can't defend yourself. Next thing you know, burglar comes around, points a gun at you. You're standing there defenseless, and there's nothing you can do but just accept your fate. That he can do whatever he wants with you at that point. So, can I get a show of hands how many people own a gun? Right on, Richard. All right. How many people have at least held or fired a firearm? All right, that's a few more. That's pretty good. Okay. The reason why I asked that is because I'm talking about the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment states, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And that's straight out of the Constitution. What I'm saying is, one, this does give exclusively to the individual, the law-abiding citizen, the right to bear arms, and two, the gun should not be illegal. Okay, now I'm going to try to explain this. I got a few different points here. There's more than meets the eye when I read that amendment. Some people say the militias are out of date. That's one of the main arguments in D.C. is that they say militias are out of date, and that's 1776, and that we don't have militias here, so we don't need it. Again, I'll say it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms not be infringed. Now, if you go more in depth with that, militia, as defined by the New Oxford American Dictionary, says, a militia is a military force that is raised from the civil population to supplement a regular army in an emergency. A side note is a military force that engages in rebel or terrorist activities, typically in opposition to a regular army, or all able-bodied citizens eligible by law for military service. So, most of us here, I can see, are all eligible for military service. I personally am not, just because of medical complications. But I am part of the civil population, and if you were in your house and a burglar did come, and there was no policeman, I mean, I don't have a police that sticks in my house at night. I don't know about you guys, though. Anyways, what I'm saying is that it's a supplement to a regular army in an emergency. Now, that to me would be an emergency. So I would be able to supplement myself in for a policeman, and I would be able to have a gun. So if you're part of the civilization, one second. If you're an able-bodied citizen, all these categories, one of us falls under. So my favorite part is this: the people's right, that's us, the people, shall not be infringed. Infringed in the New Oxford Dictionary says again, to actively break the terms of a law or agreement, etc. So now that I've included ourselves in the term militia, if the government were to take away this right, like Obama wants to do, he wants to take away our guns. If he were to make law making guns illegal, he would be infringing upon our Second Amendment. And if he were to infringe upon our Second Amendment, that's not only wrong, but it's unconstitutional. He could be impeached if he tried to do this. So, by all means, let it. Now, another reason that people want to make guns illegal is because they quote-unquote kill people. Well, I really don't want to offend anybody here, but guns kill people like a spoon made Rosie O'Donnell fat. What I'm saying is that guns only kill people in the hands of the wrong people. You're not going to be able to. I mean, if you give me a gun, I'm not going to go around and shoot someone. If you give a burglar a gun, the burglars, the people that aren't right in the head, they're the ones that shoot people. Now, as Tanisha, that's you, right? As you said there's 100,000 homicides in the U.S. Well, in 2004, according to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, there were 11,624 homicides. Homicides are intentional kills by a firearm. So if you take that 100,000 and that 11,000, that's a little bit more than 10%. So of all the homicides in the U.S., a little bit more than 10% are actually deaths by firearms. Now, secondly, unfortunately, as Michael Adrian Shepard shows, he's a reporter for a Canadian article, and he did a big article about U.S. guns and all the guns that we have. it works out that we had about 90 guns for every 100 Americans. Anyways, so what he found out is that around 12% of the firearms in the U.S. are actually registered. Now, if you have a firearm and it's not registered, it's considered to be illegal. So if you take that 12% and you put that into your 11,624, that puts it down to only not even 2,000 people are being killed by a legal gun. So the problem isn't guns in general, it's guns that are not registered. So what you need to do is make sure you have the guns registered. So I'm going to recap real quick. When people tell you that guns people, you can confidently say that there's around 2 million deaths, is also what I got from the CDC, is that there's around 2 million deaths in general. Like I said, about 100,000 of those are homicides, and 11,624 people were killed with a firearm. Like I said, from that 2 million, that's not even 0.5%. Just the 11,000 isn't even 0.5% of who was killed. And so you take that 0.5% and you divide that by 12. So now, the percentage of people killed by a legal firearm is just so minuscule that you realize what the problem is. And the problem is not having guns in general, it's the people that are using them. Like I said before too, right in the Constitution of the United States of America, it was written in 1776 that we as legal law-abiding citizens have the right to keep and bear arms. And like I said before also, if that's infringed upon, it's unconstitutional. So I hope that you guys can go around now confidently and say that guns should be illegal, or should not be illegal. I do not want them to be illegal, sorry. Guns shall be legal, and that you really will one day be able to carry a firearm on you.
All right, I'm going to go quickly because we got one more speech to do. You ID the topic, but your claim is not very clear. You're all over the place with what the supporting points are. Some of the information is just not accurate. There are not 100,000 murders in this country every year. Maybe worldwide there are 100,000 murders, but in the U.S. it's not even close to that. So you want to double check on that information. Now, the 11,000 murders by guns, that sounds like it is accurate. Like I said, I think one of the problems is that you're not really focusing on your argument. Are you focusing on whether or not the Second Amendment protects individual rights to possess guns? Or are you focusing on whether or not there's a need for guns? Are you focusing on whether or not there's a threat to gun ownership? You need to pick one of those issues. You don't provide us any data about Obama wanting to get rid of guns, although I know most people seem to believe that that's the case. My future son-in-law is freaking out over it. All you need is a piece of data that says he supported a piece of legislation to prohibit guns or restrict them in some way that you see as unconstitutional. You just got a lot of information and a lot of claims, but it's not coalescing into a very clear argument. All right, Fernando, I got to have that